Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to your WWE Wrestlemania Backlash preview and predictions. Only 6 matches officially announced for this card, but at the same time, 2/3 of them are the top championships in their respective divisions. And really, I guess you could technically say that 5 of them are, because there is no alternative title to SmackDown Tag than SmackDown Tag. The point is, top singles titles in their respective divisions. We have the Raw and SmackDown Women's Championships on the line, as well as the WWE and Universal Championships, all on this same show. And honestly, a few of these matches interest me, but overall, Alex Foster said 7 out of 10. I think I'm at about a 6.5 out of 10 hype line.
Oh my God.
What?
I had the exact number in my head looking at this card myself, 6.5.
Nice! That's awesome.
Yeah, because, and I'll tell you why. Love me Asuka. And you know what? I haven't watched Raw in, God, forever. Because even when we did the live reactions, we weren't really watching or weren't paying attention like Among Us or whatever game we were playing. So I love Asuka. Haven't seen enough of Rhea Ripley, as a Raw person to really judge. But I'm from what I have seen, it looks like maybe she's not quite ready for that spot. And Charlotte's just the worst. So I care about 1/3 of that match, and I'm pretty confident that person isn't going to win, but we'll cross that bridge when we come to it.
As far as that match goes, I think if it was just Rhea Asuka, I would be at like an 8, maybe even an 8.5 out of 10 hype level for it. Charlotte drags it down to like a 4.5.
I mean, really, for me, dude, to put it even more succinctly, pretty much all of the matches surrounding these 2 matches I'm kind of meh about. To like, we'll see if they do something that would make me tune into Raw. And really, for the SmackDown side, I just do not care about the SmackDown Tag Titles. The 2 matches that are really bringing me to this show, hyped up before Money in the Bank, which is obviously the big one that I've been holding out for, are the Women's Championship and the Universal Championship match. Those 2 matches, I'm like,
SmackDown.
Yes, on SmackDown. Those 2 matches, I'm like, yes, let's go. Everything else, So that's really where I'm at with this card. And I think for 2 matches, 6.5 is actually pretty generous. But that is kind of what I'm feeling. That's the number I'm sticking with.
Yeah, and I think I'm less hyped than you are for Roman Cesaro, but more hyped than you are for the Raw Triple Threat WWE title match.
Yeah, I would agree with that based on just our little bit of conversing about it. So yeah, you want to get into this?
All right, let's get into it. One match that I am actually somewhat excited about, just from like an on-paper, in-ring standpoint, that is definitely the least, objectively the least important match on this card. Damien Priest versus The Miz is happening on this show. It's the only non-title match, and I think it's going to be fun, honestly. I've been really enjoying. I think Damien Priest is one of the best handled NXT call-ups that has come to the main roster in probably years at this point.
Yeah, they're taking it nice and slow with him, I think. They're not rushing it, which I think is good, because, I don't even know how hot Damien would be with crowds right now, because we've had the Thunderdome, and that's a bit shaky, But I think he's in a good spot, one that really fits his talents right now. I think he can go above this spot for sure, but I like that they're keeping him on a simmer. I think he wins here. It's a pay-per-view win, no more shenanigans from The Miz, so I know he's won a little bit on TV. And yeah, I think they'll just really build it up for Priest, like, hey, he just beat a guy that was WWE champion very recently. So when they say former, it's not as distant as it used to be,
Yeah.
So it's kind of refreshed itself.
That's kind of crazy to think about. The Miz was literally the WWE champion in 2021.
Exactly. And they're going to ride that wave, man, for Priest. It's good to refresh it every once in a while. Don't do it with Jinder Mahal. So yeah, Damien Priest wins.
Have you been hearing that they're going to give him a program with Drew over the summer?
I have been hearing that, and I'm scared for everyone. So.
Oh, man.
Yeah, so Priest wins. I'm guessing we're in agreement on that?
Yeah, we definitely are. I think Priest wins. I've seen some people, and I think that some people includes Javaris in chat, saying that Priest is only going to win because John Morrison is going to try and help Miz win and fuck up and cost Miz the match, and it might eventually, or maybe even immediately, lead to their breakup. I could see that happening, no doubt. I think that that's in the realm of possibility, but I really hope, is what I should be saying. I really hope that Priest is able to beat Miz without help, without his opponent having to slip on a banana peel in order for him to beat him. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree with you. And hey, look, as a Jomo fan, I know like whatever he wants to do as long as he's having fun. But if I would get to verbalize my wishes, let's do the freaking face run. Words I never thought I would say, and get him away from the Miz. Because honestly, with Money in the Bank right around the corner, I could speed up that breakup so my guy Jomo can be in a qualifying match and win. That'd be great.
If we get a Jomo face turn and he gets swapped over to SmackDown, I want him to challenge Roman one time before retiring.
Yes, 1,000% agree with you there for sure.
Let's move on then to really hands down. Like, this is the match that if it was up to me, we'd be playing Rocket League or Brawlhalla during it. This is hands down the match that I am the least interested in. This is my least favorite match on this card by a mile. This is the match that I really, if this match would be the first match on the show, I would want us to not even bother going live until after it was over. SmackDown tag title match, the Old Dogs, and I do have that in the description, not the name that they want us to call them, which I think is like the Dirty Dogs or something stupid like that. The Old Dogs, as your SmackDown Tag Team Champions, defending against the Mysterios. You could not get me to give a fuck about this match if you made this a Dominic Mysterio on a pole match. I don't give a tenth of a shit about this match. I don't care who wins. I don't care what the result is. I don't care how someone wins. I don't even care if other good tag teams come out afterwards because they'd still have to be interacting with one of these shit tag teams. I don't give a fuck. I guess I'll pick the Old Dogs to retain, even though I genuinely don't care.
Yeah, this match really tanked interest. I think it's a big reason why I'm at a 6.5 out of 10. However, I've been struggling.
Oh yeah, if this match wasn't on the card, I'm at a 7, maybe even a 7.5.
Yeah, I can actually, I'd come with you on the 7. But I am, because I think Foster makes a worthwhile point. I think that they just want the Mysterios to be on the record books so that they can have their father-son moment. I don't know, though. See, here's the crux of my problem, Foster. While your face is agreeable and wonderful, I just wonder how much WWE estimates that moment worth, what the moment's worth. Can we do this on a big forum? Do we get a pop? Do we want to do this in front of a crowd? Can this just be a throwaway accomplishment? Now, I think it could just be a throwaway accomplishment. I don't know how WWE has appraised that moment. So, tentatively, I am going to go with Old Dogs retaining. And I think it's going to be Rude that gets the winning pin because Ziggles has kind of been tilting his fucking face off lately. So, Old Dogs to retain.
And that's kind of where I'm coming from, too, because we even talked about this last night on our SmackDown review. I think they're intentionally saving Bobby Roode up so that he is the freshest man in this match.
Yeah.
I think he's probably going to get a hot tag. He's probably going to win with the glorious DDT. And that's how they retain. So we agree on that completely, wholeheartedly. Do we also agree on how awful this match is, just in general?
Oh, God, fuck this match, bro. Fuck it.
Awful. If we're assigning hype values to each individual match, Miz Priest, I'm at a solid 7, honestly. I'm pretty excited for that match. This, if I could go negative, I would. If I could give this a negative 3 out of 10, I would. But as it stands, since we do 1 to 10, it's a 1. Easy.
Oh, God, yeah. Absolute 1 for me. It's a complete and utter dud to me on this card.
Yeah. All right. Next up, let's talk about the Raw Women's Championship. And we're kind of bookending the major championship matches with Raw because the least important of the 4, I think, and the least interesting of the 4, I think, is the Raw Women's Championship match. But then I think the most interesting of the 4, in my opinion at least, is the WWE Championship. So let's get into Rhea Ripley defending against Asuka and Charlotte here. And again, if this was just Rhea and Asuka, I'd be into it. I'd be interested. You would have my attention. But because Charlotte got thrown in, she just had to get involved. Like I said, that took me from an 8, maybe even an 8.5 down to a 4.5. I really, my interest in this match just completely tanked when Charlotte's name got brought up and she got dropped into it. Before I mention who I'm picking to win, though, because we are kind of trying to alternate here, what are your thoughts and who do you have winning?
I'm very apathetic to this. I'm really apathetic to the Raw product in general, but again, from what I've seen of Rhea, this might have been too much too fast for her. I don't know, but I get why they did it. I get why they want her to succeed. Asuka is the most consistent person in this match, but she's not winning. They play hot and cold with her. They get her real hot in certain months, like, oh, she's unstoppable. You know,
well, dude,
legend.
I feel like they get her real hot when they don't have any other options. Like when Becky's not around and Charlotte's not around, Asuka's the queen.
Exactly. So she's in a cold period now because Charlotte is here and everything. Dude, truthfully, because I don't know if they fully figured Rhea out, I'm actually going to go with Charlotte to win this. Pinning Asuka. Because I think Asuka's here to take the fall. I think Javaris said that earlier. Yeah. I completely agree with him. Yeah, I feel like Charlotte actually wins the title here. I hate myself for saying it, but I can't lie about how I feel. And then they're going to tease out the Rhea-Charlotte rematch.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm going. I think because there are 3 pay-per-views yet, including this one before SummerSlam, I'm going to pick Rhea to retain here, pinning Asuka, sending her to the back of the line officially. Then we get Rhea-Charlotte at Money in the Bank, 1-on-1. Charlotte wins. Then we get the rematch Rhea-Charlotte at, I'm assuming, Extreme Rules or maybe Battleground or whatever the fuck happens in July. Then we get Charlotte Bliss at SummerSlam.
Yeah, that all about makes sense to me. I'm sure I have disagreements there somewhere, but I think on the whole of it, yeah, I think you got the general vibe down.
Yeah, so I'm going to pick Rhea to retain here. Just hold on to the title one more month and give Charlotte the opportunity to, you know, bitch and complain about the fact that she didn't even actually lose the match because she didn't get pinned because it was Asuka that lost, because Asuka can never look stronger than Charlotte. Anyway, so yeah, I'm picking Rhea to retain. You're picking Charlotte to win. And dude, straight up, I think, like, I would say 50-50, but we have to kind of include Asuka. So I think it's like 50% chance Rhea retains, 46% chance Charlotte wins, 4% chance Asuka wins. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, I think it really is kind of a 50-50 between Rhea and Charlotte. I just think that Rhea is just slightly edging Charlotte out, because I feel like if they do Rhea dropping the title to Charlotte now, they would have to really drag that feud out to get Charlotte to SummerSlam with the title. Like, they would need to either really drag the Rhea-Charlotte feud out longer than it needs to be, or they would need to put some kind of a quick filler feud in there for Charlotte just to get her to SummerSlam. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
So let's get to our next match. The much better presented, in my opinion, women's championship match between the two. Better promos leading up to it. I'm assuming it's going to be a better worked match because of who's in it. More interesting storyline because of the sort of backstory that both of these women have going into it. I am much more interested in Bianca defending the SmackDown Women's title against Bayley than I'm interested in the Raw Women's title picture in general. So
right.
We just had a really great interaction between them last night on SmackDown. I absolutely love this story. I love the arc. I love the match on paper, at least. I'm hoping that it lives up to expectations. I'm expecting it to. Obviously, otherwise there wouldn't be expectations. And I'm stalling a little bit because I'm still not 100% sure what I want to go with here. Oh, geez. Don't actually say who you're picking, but just kind of talk about the match a little bit, because I'm still I'm still deciding who I'm picking to win.
Okay. Well, I think these are 2 world-class women's wrestlers. I think they're the best of WWE's era right now. We've seen them in 2 matches. Bayley won the first one, I think, with an eye rake. Bianca won the second one. Bianca's also eliminated Bayley from the Women's Royal Rumble this year. But again, as I said on the Go Home SmackDown, this is pretty much the rubber match between the 2 women. And you know what? I feel like, given that Bayley was completely slighted off the WrestleMania card, she deserves this spot, and I couldn't think of anybody better to really begin Bianca's title reign, whoever may emerge victorious, because this is Bianca's first defense. And, you know, I think if in WWE's mind they want to try and save Sasha Bianca potentially for SummerSlam, this is a good placeholder here. But that doesn't really incline one way or the other of who's going to win this thing. So have you made up your mind?
Yeah, I think I'm going to go with Bianca retaining. I think that my part of me that really genuinely believes that Bayley could win is more wishful thinking than reality. I think Bianca's just going to retain.
Yeah, I completely agree. This is a no-brainer for me. Bianca's title reign just started, and she won it in the main event of Mania. No way you're going to mark a title reign like that, at least this early. Not saying she can't get done like Kofi when Brock just demolished him, right? But that wasn't until quite a bit later in Kofi's reign. They're going to let this reign breathe for Bianca. She's retaining.
I think I just hate that they're doing Bianca's best potential feud as her first feud in the title reign.
That's fair, because Bayley's been on her game. Hey, look, there is. I'm one of the loudest people in the choir for Bayley. But I think in WWE's mind, it's like, we'll do Bayley now. She'll be a good placeholder until, we get Women's Money in the Bank, which Sasha may win. I really can't wait to see those fields, honestly. But ultimately, I think the workaround is Sasha, Bianca, SummerSlam.
Yeah.
And then after that, I really don't know, dude, because if Bianca, say, hypothetically retains in that scenario, I don't know who she drops the title to, because it would still be too early for a shakeup, right? So
you would almost expect a call-up, right? Maybe like Io gets hot-shotted to the SmackDown Women's title picture. I don't know.
Yeah. But yeah, I feel like Bianca's reign, it's just getting started. I feel like of the 3 women's champions we saw standing in the middle of that ring, I think Bianca's going to reign the longest, honestly.
Yeah, that's fair. I could see all 3 of them losing their titles before August, though.
Yeah, that's also fair, I think, man. But I mean, I'm still sticking my guns here. I think you said earlier, at least for this one night, Bianca's retaining.
Yeah, I think there's a big part of me that feels like whenever Vince puts a title on somebody who's a first ever champion, like a first ever championship reign, they trend towards shorter reigns. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
Like if you think about it, like how long was Randy Orton's first world title run?
A month. Cause I think he lost it the month after the SummerSlam win at Unforgiven in September.
What about Cena? What about Cena's first run?
Cena's first run was actually a bit long.
Wait, really?
I think so.
Are you?
I think he won at WrestleMania. What was that? Like March or April of 2005.
He didn't have one before then. I thought that was like his second or third one.
No, because that was the WrestleMania one, WrestleMania 21, whenever that was. That was his first
heavyweight champion. Holy shit! Okay, wow. Okay, well, okay, so yeah, Cena definitely bucks the trend. God damn.
Yeah, he bucks it hard, bruh.
Listen to you. Okay, well, I have it in my mind. What about Edge? Didn't Edge have a really short first title run?
Yeah, his cash-in run, his first one on Cena at New Year's Revolution. He lost that shit like maybe even less than a month later.
Yeah, I feel like it's kind of a trend that Vince, when he gives somebody their first big title run, he's always cuts it short. And like, even Drew, even though he had a long run, I still think it was shorter than it was intended to be. And it got broken up.
Yeah.
Like, he lost it multiple times, and he's still, like, he hasn't gotten it back after the second loss. But regardless, what? Kirby, what? What are you talking about? Charlotte's never held a title on the main roster for that long, I don't think. Has she?
No, there's no way.
No, I think she has under 200 combined days as a main roster champion. Crazy, Kirby. Anyway, my main point here is that I think that they would be willing to take the title off Bianca this early, and if you're going to put it on fucking anyone, Bayley is the clear and obvious choice in my mind.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, when you put it that way, it almost makes me wonder, bro, if we're sleeping on Bayley a little bit. You know, because, like, they trusted Bayley so much they gave her the title for 380 days. Now, that is a fact.
Yeah. Well, that's kind of what's going through my mind, though. It's like there's a lot of wishful thinking because I fucking love Bayley, and she makes everything that she's involved with gold right now.
Yes.
I want her to be SmackDown Women's Champion again because the Sasha Bianca stuff got so old so fast that it made me miss Bayley so much. And now Bayley's back in the title picture, and we're getting great segments pretty much weekly involving her and the champion. But imagine if she was the champion and she was just on the show every week having these great segments with anyone.
Yeah, I mean, and you're certainly right. I think to get some mileage out of that discussion, since it's really emphasizing Bayley, I've often been preoccupied with the question, which isn't to say it's going to sway my vote. I mean, I'm locking in Bianca hard to retain here. I don't think Bayley's going to be the one to end Bianca's reign. But I have wondered, like, what's next for Bayley after this? Like, where do you go with her? Because Riot Squad are still a tag team. You know, it's not like SmackDown's planning a Liv Morgan or Ruby singles push, which I would be absolutely for if they did either of those things.
Yeah, really.
You know, Carmella's a heel, and I honestly don't want to see her in any kind of prominent spot again. Maybe actually, if you know, since Bayley is a heel herself, maybe her and Carmella reunite and they try and be a part of the women's tag division. But like, see, I feel like Bayley is such a talent. Since we're really having this conversation, and I picked the perfect time because you know that I'm kind of buzzing today. I feel like Bayley is a much higher caliber performer than either a world title or tag title, and they can't just like be with her in any other angle. Because, like you said, she's the best part of everything that she's kind of touched recently. You know, use Bayley to elevate a woman. Make her, like, the more refined, in a way, like what they want Toni Storm to be right now in NXT. Like, you know, with better promos, obviously bigger programs. Right. Let her elevate some fucking people, you know? And then, ultimately, I think the next big thing for Bayley is to revert back to being face, and that is a talking point I've emphasized recently. But, yeah, you know, you don't have to oscillate her between titles. Give her somebody. Let us see what she can do with them. So,
yeah, I mean, that's the thing is, like, I don't disagree with that being a potentially great thing for them to do. The thing that I'm questioning is whether they realize that that's the right thing for them to do.
I don't know, man, and that's a scary thing.
Because they seem to severely lack awareness about these kinds of things.
Look, I'm just telling y'all for me, and what I love about our audience is we have a diverse range of voices when it comes to wrestling. Yeah. But Bayley and the work she's done for, like, the past year, like, ever since her heel turn started, year and a half, like, I have been more entertained by her than any other Four Horsewoman's time at the top. Like, Becky's big run, I enjoyed it in parts, but I enjoyed it in parts more when Becky was a chaser and she was angry at the world, and the crowd was just with her on that. Yeah. Before the man became, in my mind, a bit too contrived. Fuck Charlotte Flair forever. And the most I've ever enjoyed Sasha on top, if I'm being completely truthful, was her reign as NXT Women's Champion. Yeah. But I feel like Bayley's run at this moment in time, and what it has been for, like we said, the year and a half, I've enjoyed that run more than probably all of those runs. Saying combined would be a bit much, but individually, I think I have enjoyed all of them more than just all that stuff. Yeah. So
I would agree with you that Bayley's current run is number 2 or number 1. Sasha's NXT run is number 2. Becky's the man run is number 3, and then it's just like they're trading places, and then Charlotte's just dead last across the board.
Charlotte, you get nothing. All right, I feel good about that. I think we had a great discourse. So, what's next?
SmackDown. Well, it doesn't actually have SmackDown in the title. Universal WWE Universal Championship match. Roman Reigns versus Cesaro. And since I know for a fact that you have a lot more to say about this than me, I'm just going to go ahead and say it. I'm fully expecting Roman to retain here. There's no doubt in my mind. It's do whatever it takes to win kind of situation. Jay will get involved. Jimmy might even get involved to help, as like a first sort of faith that he's joining the family officially. But at the end of the day, I don't expect anyone to hold that Universal Championship over their head by the end of the show other than Roman Reigns.
Let me just begin my remarks, good sir, saying that I completely and unequivocally agree with you. I think Roman Reigns retains, and I think he continues on his reign. What I'm more concerned about is just everything going on, like, around the match and obviously within the match itself, because I have made it quite clear that I feel like this match is being done a bit early. Honestly, because I don't give a fuck about Braun Strowman, I would have just done Drew Lashley again, even if people would have hated that. Maybe put like a submission match spin on it so like Drew has to overcome that, and he can kind of diversify beyond the Claymore. And then the triple threat I would have given, Cesaro, Rollins, Reigns. That clearly didn't happen. We have to deal with what we're given. I'm hoping, here's what I'm hoping for, that Reigns retains in such a way, and you may have said something about that, and I apologize if I'm just repeating literally what you just said, but like, maybe Jimmy super kicks Cesaro when he's got Reigns in that neutralizer. And Reigns just kind of smiles at him, like, okay, I've got you in my pocket now.
Yep.
Pins him, whatever. However you get there. Now, there are obviously more important concerns. I'm liking the storyline with Roman and the Usos. I don't want them to rush that. I don't want that to be in a kind of stasis. I just don't want that fumbled, we'll say. But my main preoccupation in this moment is, how do we get this going where Cesaro can really show off? Because, like, I'm going to ask you something right now. Just quick aside, Ashton. Do you feel like WWE is going to try and aim to have live crowds for SummerSlam? Because I do, personally.
Yeah, especially because now there's the whole lifting of the mask mandate for vaccinated people, for sure, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And I
wouldn't be surprised if they aim to get a live crowd for Money in the Bank.
Now I want to be very clear about this because God knows we live in an age of misinformation and all that shit. I cannot corroborate like this whole thing because it was just a random tweet, I think from like Politico something. But they even said that like social distancing, apparently there's going to be an edict or something, whether by Biden or CDC or whatever. Social distancing is to end June 21st. Now, when is Money in the Bank anyway?
Before then.
Oh, it is before then? Interesting.
It'll be like a week or two before then, but yeah.
Yeah, oh my God, it's actually the 20th. It's the day before then, apparently.
Oh, wow.
That's nuts.
So we've got like a pretty long wait between now and then.
Yeah. So, point being, though, that I do think that, for SummerSlam, because that's in August, they're definitely going to do a live crowd. Yeah. Oh my God. So,
I still don't know what the pay-per-view name is that they're going to be doing in July, but that is probably going to be the first pay-per-view with the crowd back.
I mean, honestly, dude, given that they have the whole... Now, this is just me, pure conjecture. I wouldn't be surprised if it was like a Great American Bash type thing. Because, like, America overcame COVID, it's time to party kind of thing.
Yeah.
WWE would, I think, just seize on propaganda like that. I think, though, we could find our answer, because I feel like I've looked at 2021 schedules before. So I will look that up. But in the meantime, point being that I feel like the blow-off to this, it's going to be not necessarily a 3-match program, more like a 2-match program, but Cesaro, to me, I don't know. I'm really torn between him and Jay being Mr. Money in the Bank. And that's why I said I cannot wait to see the fields for these fucking matches. Because right now my frontrunners, at least on the Smackdown side, are Cesaro and Jey Uso, with Kevin Owens, excuse me. That guy between Rayman and Jey Uso, I'm going to be out of a job in a few weeks. I can feel it. But Kevin Owens coming in a distant third. But in my mind, Cesaro gets screwed here. It's never come easy for him because look how long it took him to get his first world title match, right? So he's not going to get a one-on-one rematch just right out of the gate. So I think he's going to have to go through the Money in the Bank ladder match. Now, either you can screw him over and give it to Jay, and then Cesaro takes the scenic route to SummerSlam, potentially. Or you just give it to Cesaro straight up, which I think is cleaner. And I've even said, like, the post-SummerSlam SmackDown, have Cesaro come out, confront Roman, raise the briefcase, say, I'm cashing this in for SummerSlam. So, I care about this match. I'm hyped for it. I think these guys are going to kill it in the ring, and I'm going to be fascinated to see their chemistry, because I think Reigns as a heel right now is fucking killing it. And I think he's going to sell and bump his ass off, and he's going to really, alongside Cesaro, milk the hope spots for a title change. And it's going to be art. It's going to be art. But how do we extend that art? Because Kevin Owens and Reigns went on seemingly forever. I think that even did get 3 pay-per-views, or at least 3 matches. Because they did the 1 match, then the cage match, then Last Man Standing. It was TLC. That was the match they did, TLC match. So I think you can make Reigns-Cesaro at the very least a 2-match program with Money in the Bank kind of in the middle there. So, yeah, Reigns retains, but I'm really hoping Cesaro isn't just going to go quietly after the fact. And I'm hoping circumstances make it so that he doesn't have to go quietly after the fact.
All right. I think we agree. Reigns retains. Let's move on to our final match, what is, I believe, the most likely main event of this show. And that is Bobby Lashley defending the WWE Championship against both Drew McIntyre and Braun Strowman in a triple threat match. I am very curious what you think is going to happen here, my friend.
God, it's so hard to predict, man, because I know neither one of us gives a shit about Raw right now. So, when you don't give a shit, and I will fully cop to this, you kind of come into these discussions pretty unprepared. Just in the sense of, like, I haven't really been following the currents. I think I try and watch, like, the YouTube clips, and I think the last one I saw, Braun Strowman was standing tall. He had laid out both Lashley and McIntyre. Now, WWE is funny because I didn't expect RK Bro to happen. I honestly thought on this Backlash card we'd be talking about Braun Strowman versus Randy Orton. Because if you remember the fucking triple threat that Drew won to get on his side of things, he pinned, I think it was Orton, but Orton had dropped Strowman with an RKO beforehand. So I'm like, oh, they're kind of doing the whole thing. So I didn't expect Braun to really be here. I see where I think he could win. He's had a weird build to the title because he beat Shane at Mania, but he's kind of like that guy that, like, quintessential babyface, I'm standing up to bullies, this and that.
Yeah.
But I don't think Braun babyface world champion run, we've seen for our own eyes that just doesn't work. His Universal title reign really wasn't that great or that memorable.
Yeah.
And he worked with fucking Bray, for God's sakes.
Yeah.
Drew, I still think, like, is their guy. It's still his era. They're just having him live through it very weirdly. So I could see him winning. So I really can't see Braun winning. I'll tell you, I count him out straight up. So then for me, it comes down to Drew and Lashley. Again, Drew, it's his era in my mind, but he's living it very weirdly. But Lashley, he's got the presence. He's definitely got the heel work because that Hurt Lock has been legit. I just don't know if Drew doesn't beat him, like, who you set up for Lashley for the title. Because, like, and the one question everybody's asking, the loudest of whom probably Javaris, where the fuck is Keith Lee? And when is he going to come back? Because if you put on a plate Lashley versus Keith Lee for SummerSlam for the WWE title,
yeah,
you have my attention.
Yeah.
In fact, you have my attention and my erection. You guys know what I'm about on this fucking show. Fuck it. I'm interested. I'm interested big time. Hell, if you make it Drew Lee at SummerSlam, I'm interested, though admittedly more interested when you have a very clear heel face dynamic with Lashley and Keith Lee. That has more of my interest than Drew Lee. So, call me crazy, and again, I've been pretty frank that I'm kind of floaty today and spacey today. So maybe that's informing it. I'm going to go with Lashley retaining because I am putting my chips and my dreams on fucking Lashley versus Keith Lee at SummerSlam for the WWE Championship. That's my prediction.
Okay.
Do it, man. I know it's coming. Do it. Let's go.
I'm curious what you think's coming.
I think you're gonna pivot so hard on everything I just said. Like, that sounds great, but no. Here's what I think is gonna happen, and I'm actually thinking you're thinking that of picking Braun Strowman to become WWE champion.
Okay, well, I have good news for you. You were wrong about that.
Awesome. So what's the bad news?
The bad news is I don't think Keith Lee is main eventing SummerSlam any fucking time soon.
What do you think is happening with Keith Lee? Do you think, like, a release is coming?
I don't know. I think really right now at this point, I'd be happy if he won a goddamn mid-card title before the end of 2021, much less main eventing the second biggest show of the fucking year.
Yeah. Yeah.
At this rate, I would be stoked to see Keith Lee win the United States Championship from Sheamus, even if it wasn't at SummerSlam, just at all. Keith Lee,
Yeah.
I feel like y'all are talking about Keith Lee like you're still seeing him as the guy who unified the NXT and North American Championships. Like, he's still portrayed as that guy. He's not even close to being that anymore. Vince has nerfed the fuck out of him. He is closer in presentation to fucking, I don't know, like Apollo or Big E right now than he is to that guy.
So, the main question of concern, who do you think is winning? Because you said I was wrong about you thinking about a Braun title change, which is interesting.
Dude, here's the thing, too. I want you guys to be right. I want Vince to be like, haha, just kidding. I don't think Keith Lee sucks. Main event Lee, baby. Let's fucking go. I would love that. But that would be the biggest swerve of the 21st century, for Christ's sakes. That'd be insane. It's not, I really, really don't think it's going to happen. So, I just don't think, I think that we've even seen a report, Vince doesn't get Keith Lee. And when Vince doesn't get you, you are fucked. You have to work 10 times harder. Your career is an uphill battle. That's fucking Christian. We're talking about like Christian John Morrison path here. That's like the career trajectory that Keith Lee is looking at. As depressing as fuck as it is, in my mind, that's the kind of work that he's going to have to put in to get back on Vince's good side. If Vince doesn't get you, you're just fucked. Or you have to leave and prove that you can be better the way that Drew did. Because otherwise, you're never going to get anywhere.
Yeah. All right.
I'm very, very sorry for any hearts that I've broken, and I hope that I'm wrong. I really genuinely do hope that I'm wrong because I fucking love Keith Lee. And I want Keith Lee to get everything that he wants. I want him to main event SummerSlams and WrestleManias. I want him to be a world champion. I want him to be Universal champion. I want him to be the one to beat Roman for the fucking world title. That would be amazing. But given the evidence that we have on our tables and the reports that we've heard coming out of backstage, I feel like there's about a 4% chance of that happening.
All right. Well, again, I want to also reiterate to bring the focus back to what's actually like reality right now. I only even mentioned Keith Lee not because I too am a big fan of his and just feel like how the fuck are they fucking this up right now?
Yeah.
But because of Lashley's booking, I really don't see who can beat him besides a behemoth like Keith Lee.
That brings me back to what I think's going to happen here. I think Braun was added to this match to eat the pin. I think Drew's winning.
Okay, so that does extend the Drew Lashley feud a little bit, which is interesting.
Yes.
But you think Drew gets it back?
I think Drew is going to win here by pinning Braun. I think we're going to get a repeat of Drew versus Lashley at Money in the Bank. I don't think either one of those guys is going to be in the ladder match. I could see Braun in the ladder match. I think he's already been in one, actually.
Yes.
And
he's won one.
Oh, holy shit, I forgot about that. I think Drew's going to retain against Lashley to send him to the back of the line. He gets a one-off opponent at Extreme Rules, I believe, is the July pay-per-view. And then we build up for something big at SummerSlam. Maybe it even fucking is Jinder Mahal, as much as I would goddamn hate that. But yes, I do think that a Drew versus Mahal feud is imminent. It is inevitable. And it is most likely going to be for the WWE Championship. I just hope to Christ that Drew does not drop it to him.
I mean, dude, since you were incredibly candid just now, I will be too. I wouldn't be surprised if Jinder got the title back because with those heavies flanking here, Indus that they used to be, I don't know what their new names are now.
Well, it's one half of formerly Indus. I don't know who the other guy is.
Oh, okay, I thought it was both of them. I guess I'm misremembering, but yeah, I could see it, man. I could absolutely see a title change happening. Because here's the thing, they've already shown that they're willing to cut Drew's reign short. That like he's not going to go in the monster like 05 Cena and Batista run kind of thing. So yeah, I could see it. I don't know though, because I understand like if they're going to do Mahal McIntyre, you would think the title would be involved. But I still think I'm going to stick with Lashley for the moment, so I'm going to say Lashley retains. But I do agree with you that Braun is in here to eat the finish, whatever it is.
Yeah. All right. I picked Drew to retain. You picked, or to win. You picked Lashley to retain. You know, the reason, though, that I say little slips like that, it feels like Drew is still the champion to me. It's like, it feels like Drew never dropped the title. It just feels like the universe will kind of realign itself properly once Drew gets that title back because it just feels like it's his right now. Like, it feels like it's still supposed to be his time. And personally, I love Lashley and I love his matches with Drew, but I am completely disinterested in at this point in him and MVP talking segments anymore. Like, I feel like when it was the full Hurt Business together, I feel like MVP had a little more swagger in his step. I feel like Vince breaking up the Hurt Business might have also broken MVP's fucking spirit because I feel like his promos have fallen off a cliff since then.
Yeah. Well, you know, I honestly couldn't blame him if that was the case, brother. Like, Vince just kind of crapped on his fucking baby, so
yeah,
that really sucks. But yeah, I can see where you're coming from, man.
So, I'm from a promo perspective, I'm much more into Drew than I am into Lashley, obviously, or even MVP as of late. And obviously, you know, Drew, and I do like Drew versus Lashley in the ring. So I'm hoping that we get another one of those singles matches in a context where Drew does win, just to retain the title at that point, because obviously I think he's going to go into the match with it. But even if he doesn't, I still could see if Lashley pins Strowman, we could still get Drew versus Lashley one-on-one at Money in the Bank.
Yeah, absolutely.
Then Drew could say, you didn't beat me, like that kind of thing.
Right.
Anyway, so that's, I think that covers everything, man. Is there any other matches that you think might happen that we didn't predict?
No, the only other thing I would have thought would be the Intercontinental title, but we know that's happening on SmackDown next Friday, so.
Yep. Do we want to predict that since we know it is happening and we're not going to do anything else?
I think Apollo retains pinning Sami Zayn, or something like that. Keep the baby strong.
Man, that is depressing. Sammy's always got to be the butt of the joke, doesn't he?
I thought I wouldn't have any more to say, and by the way, my hype hasn't changed, and yes, unfortunately, Sammy does have to be the butt of the joke. Just wanted you to know I heard what you said. But, yeah, Foster, if they are going to do another Otis-type surprise win, if they did it with fucking Sammy this year, I would fucking jetpack out of my underpants. Like, it'd be fucking incredible. I would freak the fuck out, and honestly, I think it's one of those occasions where you'd probably freak the fuck out too. Both not seeing it coming, I literally went to the fucking best person in that company right now, especially now that Brian says got to touch and go. Javaris said, bro, watch Jinder win anything. Javaris, I cannot wait for the fields to come out because I'm either going to be nervous as shit or just like, yeah.
It's funny, he said bruh, because I'm more thinking bro might win Money in the Bank.
Oh, again, can't wait for those fields to come out. And honestly, this is one year where I'm far more curious about the men's than the women's, because I already feel like, honestly, the more I think about it, I'm probably thinking Sasha's going to win this year. Yeah. So let's see about that.
Could you imagine, though, how much easier it would be to get into the women's Money in the Bank match if they just gave the undercard women an ounce of credibility? Like, if there was even a chance that Ruby or Liv could win that thing, or Naomi could win Money in the Bank, like, how much more into it we would be if we thought that they had a shred of a chance. But no, they're just background characters when Charlotte and Sasha and Bayley and Asuka are the actual, like, front main, protagonistic characters or antagonists or whatever.
Yeah. All right, well, yeah, my hypes remained about the same. If anything, it's dipped only because I'm far more hyped for Money in the Bank, and I feel like this show is an inconvenience.
Yeah, dude, I was even about to say, like, when you were talking about how hyped you are to see Money in the Bank and who's the field and that kind of stuff, I was ready to be like, oh, dude, just think, after this pay-per-view, we're going to start getting those fields filled out. But now I'm realizing they've got 5 fucking weeks to do it, and whenever the WWE has a lot of time to build to a pay-per-view, they always sit on their thumbs and just fucking fuck around for like 2 or 3 weeks, and then they're just like, oh wait, we've got a pay-per-view to build to, let's drop a bunch of shit all at once on social media instead of the TV show.
Yeah, it sucks eggs.
It does. I hate it.
All right, well, I'm gonna let
Oh god, Javaris, you might be right. He said, imagine if WWE fucked around and had Eva Marie win Money in the Bank too. God damn it. I hate that that's even a possibility. I hate that that's even a possibility, John. Make it stop. Make it go away.
If Jinder and Eva win their Money in the Bank ladder matches, I'm swearing off Money in the Bank. That's like the black hole in our calendar.
As
like,
if Brock winning it a couple years ago wasn't bad enough.
Yeah, you're lucky I tolerated that, WWE, but if this happens, no. I'm going to have a meeting with Ash the next day. So, I matter, and that was pointless, so I never want to do Money in the Bank again. But, yeah, we'll see. Again, I'm fucking stoked for the fields to be coming out. The Otis-type victories, I would love that I just wouldn't see coming. Sami Zayn's number 1, and Aleister Black, just out of curiosity, I'd put him on there. And the only other person I could think just like out of fucking nowhere would be Cedric Alexander, because I've loved his swagger on Raw. It's kind of disappointed that Shelton beat him, but Shelton's still looking fucking great for his age too. Really, her business should still be together, and I hate it. But yeah, I'm so psyched for that show, and let's see if WWE can break my heart again. All right, bud, I'm gonna hand it over to you to take us home. Thank you for joining us, guys. You're all beautiful, and I will be AFK, good sir. So just have fun with it.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we hope that you all enjoyed our WrestleMania Backlash preview and predictions. It's still really weird that they have WrestleMania tacked onto it, but to be fair, that's always what Backlash has felt like, is like a WrestleMania rebound show. So, even though it makes sense, it just feels extra. It just feels repetitive, but anyway, we hope that you all enjoyed our preview and predictions. If you did, remember to like the video. You can also subscribe to the channel, click the bell icon to join the notification squad. And if you would like to, we would personally love to know what you think is going to happen on this show. So once this video is done processing, be sure to leave your predictions in a comment down below. If you would like to keep up with what's going on in the Twitwowverse, you can also follow us on Twitter, as well as following us on Twitch. And if you would like to support us, you can support us by subscribing on Twitch, buying our merch on Teespring, or I guess now it's just buying our merch on Spring. They changed the name. Donating to our Patreon, and sharing this channel and this video with all your wrestling fan friends and letting them in on the best kept secret in the YouTube and Twitch wrestling communities. We are Twitwow, and we are the workhorses of the Y and T WCs, and we will be seeing you all tomorrow for our live reactions to the show that we just previewed, the WrestleMania Backlash 2021. So we hope you're looking forward to it. And then on Tuesday, we'll be doing an NXT review and possibly a Stardom reaction. Most likely a Stardom reaction on Tuesday, actually. It seems like they're going to upload a bunch of it Monday. So I'm hoping that happens. And then other than that, we have 2 Stardom reactions, or maybe even 3, I don't even know, this coming week. And then, of course, we got our NXT review Tuesday and our SmackDown review Friday. So we hope you're looking forward to all that. And most importantly, we hope that you're all able to remember to stay tuned.